What's going on, guys? My name is Jacob, aka the Hairless Salamander, here to bring you my quick pick video for UFC 287. But before we get started, make sure you go to WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member today. It is only $10 a month. That is $10 a month, the best value in the game. We just revamped the website. I got my own page. Angelo has his own page. We got people adding their own pages. We got bets. We got analysis. We got breakdowns. We got line movements. We got DraftKings. We got it all. It's only $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. Sign up today. Support the channel. Get something back in return. But let's get right into the action. My quick pick video for UFC 287 at MIA. Let's get it started. First up, we have Sam Hughes versus Jaqueline, and I think Jaqueline's the real deal. I think she's the real deal. I think she gets this fight to the ground, and when she gets the fights to the ground, she doesn't force takedowns. She waits for the timing. She looks for the timing. She gets the timing. She gets great takedowns, gets people to the ground. She takes her time. She gets absolute control, looks for that full mount position, and she is just not a jiu-jitsu nerd. She has a lot of submissions, but she will get in full mount, and she will ground and pound you until you make a decision. You're either going to give up your arm for an armbar, or you are going to give up your back, and I absolutely love that. I hate when people are in advantageous positions and they're just waiting for the submissions. They're trying to force submissions. She will ground and pound and let the submissions come to her, and when they come to her, she absolutely capitalizes. Listen, Sam Hughes is very, very tough. Very, very tough girl. Most of her fights, she loses the first round, then wins the second, wins the third round, 4 decision wins. That's how she wins fights. She's not super dangerous. So, if she can withstand the takedowns, not get taken down, or even survive on the ground in the first round, get to the second, the third round, this fight could be very, very interesting because we just don't know how Jaqueline will react after the first round. But Sam Hughes is a girl that won't just stay safe in her guard. She's not one of those who's just going to stay safe in her guard, play it safe. She's going to try to get back to her feet. She's going to work to try and scramble to get back to her feet because she's a tough girl. She's a very proud fighter. And in those positions, when she is trying to get back to her feet, that's when Jaqueline should be able to take advantage, find the submission win. So I like Jaqueline all the way in this. Obviously, if she's able to stuff some takedowns on the Sam Hughes side, this could be very, very interesting. But give me Jaqueline confidence level probably about 8 out of 10. Jaqueline, hey, doing? I'm the Hairless Salamander now. Hit me up. Let's move on to the next one. Steve versus Shayilan, and this one is going to be a lot of fun, man. This could end up being the fight of the night, because if you guys know Steve Garcia, he is going to bring it. He is going to bring the heat. He is going to bring the noise, and it is going to be up to Shayilan to be ready for that early onslaught, because this is going to be fireworks early, and it's going to come down to, in my mind, whose chin do I trust more? Do I trust Steve Garcia's chin, or do I trust Shayilan's? And I think I trust Shayilan's, and he has the wrestling in his back pocket as well. But this is going to be interesting because Steve Garcia is one of those guys, he doesn't care. He does not care. You saw that against Chase Hooper, but in that Chase Hooper fight, there is opportunities for Shayilan, because when he does brawl, he's not super technical. He leaves his hands down. He leaves himself open to opportunities, and if there's ever a guy that can give you a knockout when you leave yourself open, it is going to be Shayilan. So I think Steve Garcia is definitely super live in this matchup, but Shayilan should know the blitz is coming, be ready with the counters, with the precise counter striking, and he's got power in his own right, and we've seen Steve Garcia get dropped and dropped and dropped. He'll keep going forward. This is going to be a fun fight. I think the under 2.5 is probably, I can't believe this is under 2.5. I figured it'd be under 1.5. I like that play. I like Shayilan in this matchup. I don't absolutely love him, but he should be able to understand the early onslaught, find the counter shot, and if he gets in trouble, maybe even wrestle to keep himself safe. So my pick is Shayilan. I don't absolutely love it. He's probably more of a minus 150 than a minus 200. Steve Garcia is very, very live. If you guys want live underdogs and I'll fight for your money, Steve Garcia is going to be that guy. But let's move on to the next one. Shayilan's probably about a 5 out of 10 confidence level. Let's move on. Trey Ogden versus Ignacio Bahamondes, and I love Bahamondes in this matchup. I absolutely love him. You see the odds reflect that. I think they're getting even wider. What he basically needs to do is just jab. I think that he can just TKO Trey Ogden with a jab, because Trey Ogden is a guy that wants the fight to the ground, but he won't force the fight to the ground. He will stand and strike, and when he stands and strike, it's very just following with zero head movement. And if Ignacio with that long step, boom, boom, boom. I mean, you could just jab this dude for 15 minutes and eventually put himself out. So if Ignacio just jab, look for that 1-2 down the pipe, it should be there all day. Now, if he starts getting over aggressive, and he starts chasing, headhunting, looking for finishes, and he gets taken down. That's bad news because Trey Ogden is very good on the ground, especially when he's in top positions. But we've seen Ignacio, Bahamondes defend takedowns. What I do not want to see from Bahamondes in this matchup is front chokes and guillotines. Stay away from it. If Trey Ogden is taking shots, that means he is in trouble. Do not get this fight to the ground. I don't care how tight that guillotine is. Don't pull guillotine. Defend the takedown. Jab, 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 jab. That's all you need, Bahamondes. That's all you need in this fight, and I actually love this matchup for him. Short notice, Trey Ogden is another factor. Ignacio, Bahamondes, give me him all day. 8.5 out of 10 on the confidence level scale. Let's move on. Cynthia versus my girl, Lupita. Actually, I'm going to say former girl, because I've never been embarrassed. So embarrassed in my life. That Lupita performance versus Angela Hill. I told everyone, oh, she's going to steamroll. Lupita's my girl. She's going to out-wrestle. No wrestling. Lost the fight. Couldn't believe it. Cynthia used to be my girl. Cynthia is completely broken as a fighter. I'll be honest. I'm rooting for Cynthia in this matchup. I am going to be rooting for Cynthia in this matchup. And if this is a stand-up affair, if Lupita just wants to stand up and bang with Cynthia for 3 rounds, I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think it's a coin toss fight. Lupita has the wrestling. She needs to use the wrestling. Yes, Cynthia has the wrestling. Lupita's a better wrestler. Lupita can out-wrestle pretty much anyone in this division if she wants to. Just sometimes she just doesn't do it. I have no idea why. I'm going to be rooting for Cynthia. I love Cynthia. Ever since that Andrade fight, she used to bully girls. And then she got bullied. And now it seems like she has zero confidence in her wrestling, zero confidence in her striking, zero confidence kind of everywhere. And that's really unfortunate because I was a big fan of hers, and I think she's very, very talented. Maybe she finds that confidence back against Lupita, because if Lupita wants to strike with her, I think it's pretty even, and Cynthia could find some confidence landing some shots, but the path to victory is just too obvious for Lupita. Wrestle. Just wrestle. Wrestle, and you could probably be the fucking champion, Lupita. I mean, you could probably be the champion if you just wrestle in Mall Girls for 15 minutes. So I'm going Lupita here, but if she doesn't wrestle, this is a 50-50 fight. It should be an easy win for her. Cynthia used to be this tough, bully type girl. I think she's a little bit broken now. I'm going to be rooting for Cynthia, but Lupita, this is your last shot. I mean, this is your last shot. If you're not going to wrestle here, I don't know what you're doing. Let's move on. Give me Lupita confidence level. I mean, if she's wrestling, it's a 9. If she's not wrestling, it's a 3. That's a toss-up. Let's move on to the next one. Gerald Meerschaert versus Joe Pyfer. And this is, I don't really understand the odds here. It's minus 180 for Joe. I'm pretty high on Joe. If you watch Gerald fight, it's almost like he doesn't want to fight anywhere except for on the ground, even off his back. His takedowns are not good. But when he's striking, his defensive striking, a lot of it is just head movement. I mean, it is slow, kind of duck. Kind of duck your head out of the way, hands low, and it's just like, it's not like side to side, he's dipping and he's slipping. He just kind of like, doop, doop. And you saw what happened against Chimaev when he tries to just kind of doop, doop. Somebody with fast hands that has long range and finds people at the end of their shots can catch Gerald and put him out. I think that's exactly what Joe Pyfer is. Obviously, he's got the wrestling, the grappling, and this is the last time I'm going to trust the Philly camp. Pat Sabatini, Sean Brady, Jeremiah Wells, Joe Pyfer, all those guys are all up there. They've all kind of made fools of me lately. So if Joe Pyfer loses this fight, I am done with anyone from the Pennsylvania area. But I'm telling you right now that he should be able to find that shot. He has fast hands. He doesn't overextend because Gerald will time takedowns if you overextend. If you're looking for those big power shots, Gerald will duck under. You saw that against Bruno. But Joe Pyfer seems like a pretty poised guy. He's in there boxing, and then boom, boom, when he throws one of those down the pipe, Gerald's going to be hands low, kind of trying to duck out of the way, boom, right on the chin, should put him away. So I love this matchup of Joe Pyfer. Obviously, Gerald, if it goes to the ground, on his back, on top, whatever it is going to be crazy live, crazy dangerous, but Joe should know that. He should have the wrestling. Even if he gets in bad positions, he should be able to get out of it. But I think Joe can knock this dude out. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Give me Joe Pyfer all day. Confidence level, probably 7.5 out of 10 for my dude, Joe. Let's move on to the next one. Karl Williams and Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman is 4-10 in his UFC career. Let me say that again. 4-10. In his UFC career. He was in the UFC, lost a bunch, left, came back, now he's losing even more. This should be a Karl Williams play all the way, right? I mean, it should be. Should get the takedowns, dominate, find the finish, but if he doesn't find the finish, he does get tired. I mean, there is no doubt about that. The reason why he does get so tired is because everything is so powerful, and he does chase the finish. It's not like he's just laying and praying and getting tired. He's trying to finish people first, second round, but the last 2 fights, he hasn't been able to find that finish, and you've seen in the third round of those fights, it's like, uh-oh. This could be interesting. So this could be another one of those weird situations where if he's dominating the first, dominating the second, but in that third round, he's getting tired. Chase is one of those guys that, yeah, he has a ton of losses, but he does have a ton of experience, and he's a volume guy. He doesn't need that one-hitter quitter. He can boom, 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 boom. I don't see it happening. I think Karl gets him, double legs him, slams him to the ground, and actually does find a finish. This is a big opportunity. He just fought a month ago. Short notice, coming in, should dominate. Minus 500 favorite. I'm going to be rooting for him. I think he is definitely a live prospect coming up with the wrestling, with the power. He's got to clean some things up, but he's still young. Give me Karl Williams in this matchup. Should be about 8.5, 9 out of 10 against Chase Sherman. Just watch that cardio. If this starts going late second round and those live odds, they could be plus 2,500, plus 3,000 for Chase Sherman. You might sprinkle going in the third because we've seen Karl get tired. He doesn't quit, but he does get tired, and crazier things have happened. So give me Karl Williams in this matchup. Confidence level 8, 8.5, 9, something like that. Should be able to get it done. Let's move on. Michelle Karate Hottie Waterson Gomez. That is more than a mouthful versus my girl Luana Pinheiro. And I'll be honest, Luana was my girl. I mean, she kind of is my girl now. She is the girlfriend of Matthias Nicolau. And she used to be nasty, man. And she still is nasty, but coming off the knee surgery. We just saw that. Who else did I say was my girl coming off the knee surgery? It was Casey O'Neill, and she looked slow. And Luana is one of those girls that really relies on athleticism. I think she took a little bit more time off than Casey. She should be fine. She is a judo specialist. She just wants to headlock girls, throw them to the ground, and finish them. She is a finisher, but coming off a knee surgery against a very, very good opponent in the Karate Hottie, this is a tough matchup for her. Because I don't see her coming across, getting in the clinch, and just tossing down Michelle Waterson like that. Michelle Waterson's been there, done that. She knows what Luana is going to do, wants to get in those judo clinches and throw her down. And Michelle's looking good. I mean, in her last fight, she was taking down Amanda Lemos, looking good against Amanda Lemos. I think she's the better striker in this matchup, in what should be a mostly striking matchup in my mind, unless Michelle wants to take her down, which I think she can take her down. Luana is a very average fighter. Decent in the jiu-jitsu. What she wants to do is just throw people down and then beat them like that. I just can't picture her coming across, getting a headlock position and wizard kicking her to the ground. I just don't see her doing that to Michelle. So if this is a mostly standing affair and Michelle's the better wrestler, I gotta go with the Karate Hottie. I know I am biased with Luana. I think she's nasty. I think she's very good. She's tough, but I think she's a very average striker. I think Michelle's the better striker. Michelle's got the wrestling if she needs it, and I just don't see Luana a big step up in competition, coming off the knee surgery, being able to use her judo the way she has versus lower level competition against Michelle. Give me Michelle Waterson in this matchup. Karate Hottie. Hey, how you doing? Confidence level is probably about a 4, 5, something like that, because she is the underdog. Luana is a killer, but give me the Karate Hottie. Let's move on. Gastelum versus Chris Curtis, and I'm a Chris Curtis fan. I'll say right now, I'm a Chris Curtis fan. I said that he would knock out Brendan Allen. I said if Phil Hall's tried to strike with this dude, he's going to get knocked out. I've been on Chris Curtis, and I will be on Chris Curtis till the day I die, because the guy's got incredible takedown defense, and he is one of the better boxers in the UFC in general. And if you stand in front of this guy, you are going to get knocked out or get hurt enough to where you're going to lose that fight. And I think that's exactly what Kelvin Gastelum's going to do. Kelvin Gastelum is a super talented fighter. There is no doubt about that. Incredibly talented. Went toe-to-toe with Izzy. Fantastic striker. Good wrestler. But in this matchup, I think he's the perfect opponent to Chris Curtis, because Chris Curtis wants somebody that's going to push in his face so he can counter-strike off those strikes, and that's exactly what Kelvin Gastelum's going to do. Kelvin Gastelum is a fighter's fighter. He's not going to dance around. He's not going to try to point fight. He's not going to be jacked, just kind of boom, dance around. Chris Curtis is following him, getting frustrated. He's going to be in Chris Curtis' face. And I know everyone's going to say, oh, I don't think Chris Curtis is going to knock him. Nobody's ever knocked out Kelvin. He's never been knocked out. He's gotten knocked down. Just because you have never been knocked out does not mean you cannot get knocked out. And I don't even think that Chris Curtis needs to get a knockout to win this fight. I think he can do enough damage. He's going to have the forward pressure, the counter striking. Gastelum is one of those guys that will stand in your face, hands low, head movement, gets hit. I mean, he gets hit a ton. He's a tough dude. He's a warrior, and I just don't see Kelvin being able to mix in the wrestling to be able to win this fight. Chris Curtis is a very good takedown defense, and Kelvin's going to be in his face, in boxing range, and that's exactly what Chris Curtis wants. I think this is a fantastic matchup for Chris Curtis. He's a little bit pissed off that he's not on the main card. He is the featured prelim, which is a great spot for him, and I think he's going to show out in front of this big big crowd in Miami and really kind of put it to Kelvin Gastelum. So I'm Chris Curtis all the way in this matchup. I cannot believe he flipped to an underdog. I loaded up when he was a minus 130. I loaded up more. I'm willing to look stupid because I think Chris Curtis absolutely dominates this matchup. Every striking exchange, lands the power shots, maybe drops him a couple times, could find the finish. Give me Chris Curtis. Confidence level probably about a 6 out of 10 because I'm not stupid. Kelvin is very talented, but, you know, for the value, I think Chris Curtis is one of the better value plays on this card. Let's move on to the next one. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. I think it's a Raul play all the way because if you watch Christian Rodriguez, especially against JSP, Jonathan Pearce, he can get taken down. And yes, he does have decent takedown defense. He has decent scrambles, but it's almost worse for him that he is good at scrambling because he was able to out-scramble Jonathan Pearce a little bit in that matchup. He was still losing positions. When you're trying to out-scramble and you're giving up your back in those scrambles, which is exactly what he was doing against Jonathan Pearce, kind of rolling through stuff, giving up his back to trying to get back to his feet, Raul's going to take your back, and he's going to backpack you. I actually think that Raul's grappling is a little bit underrated, which is kind of crazy to say, but he came up as a striker. He didn't start learning grappling, which is insane, until like a few years ago. He was like in a grappling tournament, got out grappling. He was like, oh my God, I should just start out grappling people. This is much easier. And that's exactly what he started doing. I think this is a great matchup for him. Listen, I hope that he stands a little bit, shows off his striking, because he is a pretty good striker as well. But, you know, Christian is just too susceptible to the takedown, and when he starts scrambling, will give up his back, and we've seen Raul, once he gets your back, he will stay on your back and chase finishes. And even if he doesn't get it, it's not like he's a first-rounder bust guy. His Contender Series fight was against another very, very well-versed grappler, and he stayed on him and grinded him for 3 straight rounds. He's a 19-year-old kid. He can do this forever, and I think he absolutely dominates this fight. The second he gets a takedown, Christian will try to scramble, get his back taken, and there it is. Wham, bam. Thank you, man, for the young kid again on the pay-per-view opener. Give me Raul. Confidence level 8 out of 10. Let's move it on to the next one. Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. I'm a big Kevin Holland dude, and I think this is a tailor-made matchup for him. Listen, Kevin Holland was kind of embarrassing his last 2 fights, right? But he was out-wrestled by probably one of the best wrestlers in the UFC, and then he was outstruck by one of the best strikers to ever come across the UFC. So it's like, yeah, he's coming off 2 losses, but those are against kind of the top people in those respective rights of their mixed martial arts career. And Kevin Holland actually had, I mean, he had Stephen Thompson hurt in the first round. He had him on skates. He was landing big shots. And if those same shots land on Santiago, I mean, it's going to be night for Mr. Ponzinibbio, unfortunately. And we'll see if Kevin Holland comes in and maybe use some wrestling, maybe use some grappling a little bit more. Coming down to 170, he hasn't really shown that. He said that, you know, in that Stephen Thompson fight, he tried to use it at the end when he was going to, because he was losing the fight. And he was like, I'm not going to wrestle. He's like, oh shit, now I should wrestle because I'm going to lose this fight. We'll see if he mixes that in a little bit more early on this fight, because I think he really wants to get a win. I think he really wants to show, hey, I can still be a guy. The UFC loves him. They understand matchups. They understand when they put matchups together who they think should win that fight. They made this fight for Kevin Holland to show off his striking, maybe show off his wrestling as well, but they want him to win this fight, and that's exactly what it is. Santiago is a very good striker, a very well-rounded fighter. He's tough, but he is hittable, and Kevin Holland should be able with long, straight shots coming down the pipe. The unorthodox wild stuff with the wild knees. He is just kind of overwhelmed Ponzinibbio, who wants to stay a little bit more technical. Kevin Holland's going to be whipping, wilding, wild shot coming over the top, and he should be able to get it done. Give me Kevin Holland. Confidence level probably about a 7.5 out of 10. Let's move on to the next one. Rob Font versus my dude, Adrian Yanez. And I'm biased. If you want to skip this, I understand. I am super biased for my dude, Adrian Yanez. I think he is the best boxer in the UFC. There is nothing more beautiful than when Adrian Yanez gets in the flow and starts boxing and let his hands go, because it's not just head hunting. You'll see a lot of boxers, boom, 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 boom. But Adrian Yanez, when he gets flowing, and I love the kind of like the delayed combinations that Yanez throws. That's my favorite part. He'll throw like a little feeler out there, see how you react, and then come with a very quick like 3 combinations. So he'll throw like a jab, and then kind of delay, so it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like boom, 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 boom. And he, oh my God, I just love the way that he's able to work the body, the head, throwing combinations, and he lets those things fly too. And when he has you hurt, it is bad news. And this is another one of those instances where they know what they're doing in this matchup. These are 2 boxers going toe-to-toe, and I just believe that Adrian Yanez is the better boxer. I think he's the better boxer. I think he's not quite as technical as Rob Font, but he's going to have the speed. He's going to have the power. He's got that dog in him. His grappling is coming up. Don't be surprised if Adrian mixes in a takedown or two, especially if he's getting touched up a little bit early. Just kind of break up the rhythm and the pace of Rob Font. But I love Adrian Yanez in this matchup. I'm obviously loaded up. Go to WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member, see everything I've got on Adrian Yanez. I'm biased. Don't listen to me. Confidence level's 12 out of 10 for Adrian Yanez. He is my dude. I absolutely love him. Best boxer in the UFC. He is going to be the champ by 2025, and he's going to reign for 10 years. Adrian Yanez gets it done against Rob Font in front of the Miami crowd. They're going to be loving it. Move on to the next one. Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal, the journeyman Jorge Masvidal, who got a lucky win versus Darren Till, a lucky knee versus Askren. Listen, I'm a Jorge hater. I absolutely am a fully admitted Jorge hater. I don't think he's that good. He's got decent takedown defense. Obviously, if this is striking for 15 minutes toe-to-toe, I think it's a pretty 50-50 fight. Jorge is, a better, probably technical boxer of the two versus Gilbert, but this should be easy peasy, lemon squeezy for Gilbert Burns. Get on his hips, pick him up, slam him down, and submit him. Jorge's got good takedown defense. He has good takedown defense against Usman, who kind of shoots just kind of singles, works methodically for a single, just kind of wants to drag you to the ground. You don't really see Usman, especially in this point in his career, picking people up, slamming them down. He might scoop a single. If he scoops a double, he'll scoop your ass up and put you on the ground. Gilbert, when he wrestles, it's not super technical, although he does have the technical aspects of it. It is all power and all explosion. You saw him pick up 6'3", probably 190-pound Neil Magny on fight night. Just pick him up over his head, slam him down, submit him. What's he going to do to Jorge? Jorge's a former 145er, former featherweight. And I know that Gilbert's a former 155er, but this dude is strong. He is powerful. He is going to blitz in. He's going to pick Jorge up over his head. He's going to slam him down. And before Jorge has time to scramble back to his feet, he is going to be getting mauled and submitted in this fight. I understand there's a lot of people that are like, oh, Jorge's pretty live. If this is on the feet, let's say Gilbert, for whatever reason, doesn't wrestle, right? Even though I think that's the full game plan going in here, it's probably a 50-50 fight, right? Because Jorge can kind of out-volume, boom, boom, get in his face, and it'll come down to the judges probably, because I don't see either one of these guys putting either one of away. But Gilbert just has such a grappling advantage. He's going to pick him up. He's going to slam him down. He's going to get the submission win, probably early. Give me Gilbert all day in this matchup. I think that he can be champ. I think Colby Covington's going to beat Leon. It's going to be Gilbert and Colby, and I think Gilbert can beat Colby. So give me Gilbert Burns all day in this matchup. Let's move on to the main event. Main event time. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. And how the hell can you pick Izzy? How can anyone pick Izzy at this point? 0-3 versus the guy. Fought a fantastic fight in the first and in the last fight. Still ended up losing. Here's what I see when I watch the fight. Okay, this seems pretty easy peasy, cut and dry to me. Izzy fights Alex scared. He literally fights him scared. You'll see him against the fence, backing away, and for good reason, right? And we saw why he fights him scared, because he does have that power. But this is the big difference with Izzy compared to everyone else. Izzy always will fight with his back against the fence, right? He'll switch stances, he's moving left, he'll move right. When people get him pinned against the fence, you'll see him hands low. But the difference is when he fights other people and his back is against the fence, right? And he's got the head movement. He will stick, and then circle out, right? Stick, circle out. Or boom, stick, circle out. You'll see him kind of do the head movement, the slip with the one, and then kind of circle out and then circle out. Watch when he fights Alex. The second he gets his back against the fence, what does he do? He tries to clinch. He wants to clinch because that's where he feels safe against Alex. He knows that when he's using head movement and he's slipping and boom, and he's trying to fight out of the fence, where normally he has no issues, just kind of sticking and slipping. He knows against Alex, when he is throwing that shot, the 1-2, the whatever, and he's going to roll out, Alex is so good with those tight hooks. Izzy is scared to death, and you saw why. You saw why. That's exactly what happened. Izzy was against the fence, fifth round. Alex had him pinned. Izzy tried to clinch. Alex shrugs him off, throws one of those hooks, and bam, lands right on the button. That's why Izzy wants to clinch in those positions. And until he fixes his mindset of being scared to fight Alex, I think the same thing happens. Alex is just stalking. And unless Izzy comes in with a completely different game plan, wrestling, whatever it is, I think that he's in bad shape. Izzy needs to be the pressure fighter. He needs to put Alex on his back foot, whether that is with front kicks, side kicks, something to keep Alex from moving forward, stalking him, because Izzy just is not comfortable, whatever reason, against a fence, against Alex like he is with everyone else. He has no issues against a fence. You'll see him hands down against everyone else. Against Alex, he's always trying to grab Alex. He's always trying to clinch because he's just scared to death of those hooks. And I don't know how Izzy fixes his mindset. I don't know how you can go in to a fight 0-3, you just got knocked out, and not be scared anymore. He's going to be scared of the power. He should be scared of the power, but you have to offset his power by pressuring him. You have to be on him. You have to make him move backwards. You have to keep the range with the kicks, the front kicks, whatever it is. And I just don't see Izzy doing that, man. I just do not see Izzy doing that unless he comes in with a completely new game plan. I just don't see him. I just don't see him win. I just don't see him winning this fight again. I think Alex stalks him until he finds that shot. Alex looks even more motivated than he did. I don't even know how that's even possible. But even as a champion, he seems even more motivated. Alex had a great takedown in the first fight. Izzy's were okay. Alex actually had a pretty good takedown. We'll see if Alex comes in, maybe mix in some grappling as well. But I think Alex doesn't need to change anything. Stalk. Eventually the shot will be there. Izzy is scared to death of this dude. It shows when he fights. He's trying to clinch instead of rolling out, sticking and moving. Should be a fun fight. We'll see, man. But I think Alex kind of steamrolls this guy once again. That is my pick. And this has been my quick pick video for UFC 287. If you guys are new, make sure you subscribe. Like the video if you like the video. Let me know in the comments below if you agree, if you disagree. I appreciate you guys so much for watching this video. My name is Jacob, a.k.a. the Hairless Salamander. And I'm out.